Thank you for attending this webinar on OBE and CBCS framework for accreditations. I'm your host, A.R. Swaminathan, CEO of Octopus Technologies and the founder of CAMU Digital Campus, a solution for colleges and universities to achieve academic excellence with the use of cloud technology. I'm very happy to see plenty of guests from different countries, including some folks we have had the good fortune of partnering with in rolling out our solution. This afternoon, I'm very excited to bring to you a topic that is of extreme importance for colleges who are on the path to accreditations from bodies like the NPA and NAAC. Our guest speaker for the day, Dr. Thiruvengadam, is Associate Dean of Teaching and Learning at Thiagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai. At TCE, they have implemented systems that have successfully used outcome-based education and the choice-based credit system for their students. Dr. Thiruvengadam is a highly respected and sought-after speaker in the area of academic design, and I'm highly grateful to him for taking the time to speak to us today. Without further ado, I would like to pass on the mic over to Dr. Thiruvengadam and dive into the topic for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Swaminathan for given this opportunity to me to share our experience in the field of outcome-based education and choice-based credit system. In my presentation, I would like to cover the following 4 items. What are the motivations for OBE and CBCS? Then on the curriculum design, content delivery, and assessment. In fact, the last session will be an interactive session, so question and answer part. The motivation for OBE starts in my classroom itself. When I ask this question, what are the engineering roles you want to play after your graduation? I got different answers. First answer is as a designer. Second is on the researcher. And some of them, they say that after completing their research activities, they will join the academic positions. Then project leader, and some students, they want to, very few, they want to become an entrepreneur after their graduation. And some of them, they don't have any idea, they just say engineer, that's all. Then some of them, they say they want just an industry job, government job, or the defense job, something like that. So the one student, they don't need all these things there, but our system should be flexible. That is in terms of curriculum design, content delivery, or in the assessment, we should meet each group. So we need a flexible system. So what is the flexible system implies? It's a OBE and CBCS, outcome-based education and a choice-based credit system. And the further thing is, students wants to use whatever the things they have learned in their graduation or during the program throughout his or her professional life. They may see, they may get to see 5 or 6 absolences in technology also. That is going to be as a key point we are going to provide. So the flexible system is the key. That means how we are going to offer this particular thing. I just look back the engineering education in general. What are the things we get to do? We get to build the knowledge, skill, and attitude that will enable the graduate to proceed for the next level. That is for the training and experience that will develop the competencies required for their independent practice in an engineering role. So the combination of these 3 things called as the knowledge, skill, and attitude provide the ability for a graduate to perform an activity in an independent practice role. So the question is now, what are the abilities a student should get during the program in the campus? It is given by the graduate attributes. Normally it is called as program outcomes in National Board of Accreditation in India. These skills, knowledge, skill, and attitude, what are the things to possess as they graduate from the engineering program. This program outcome is the guideline for framing any curriculum in OBE basis, and course outcomes becomes as the minor part of or the micro level of this particular things. So as a faculty, how can we do better to improve the ability of the students? Of course, within the available student, faculty, time, funding, and other resources. So whatever the things available here, we want to improve the ability of the students. That means the learning outcome should be much better what we are achieving now through the way three things, and I believe it is most important here. One is the curriculum design, second part is the content delivery, and the third part is the assessment. So these three things are an important aspects here, and my focus will be on these three things alone. So the thing is, in order to understand these things, I just give another motivation from the Bloom's taxonomy that in the cognitive domain, it introduces 6 levels. It has six levels in the Bloom's taxonomy. First level is remember, understand, apply. These three things are known as lower order thinking skills. Analyze, evaluate, create. These three things are known as the higher order thinking skills. If you look at the program outcomes or the graduate attributes, that starts only from applying part of that. This is the engineering knowledge, how do they apply? So program outcome wise, it starts only from apply level. Then the next graduate attribute is a problem analysis, that is an analysis part. Then in the third program outcome and fourth one, they talk about how they are going to do the evaluate and create level. So the idea is any engineering program, the students should have a higher order thinking skills. How we are going to provide these things now. So this is from the Bloom's taxonomy. I'm just connecting it here to the curriculum design, content delivery, and assessment part. This will be a thread connecting all the three: curriculum design, content delivery, and assessment. In the curriculum design part, as a traditional practice, how do we introduce a course? Course means many of them known as a subject. Okay, introduction of the courses or the subject. It is based on the expectations of the faculty. I am not complaining anything that this is not to be done. This is what is in practice. Of course, there are a lot of advantages are also here. I am just collecting an idea that what is traditionally followed by many institutions here. So we introduce courses in a curriculum or in the syllabi based on the expectations of the faculty. The second thing is, how do we get the syllabus component is, we are going to look at what is the content of the latest book in that particular domain. Then we introduce that particular thing. The problem here it is, the background of the students are not basically considered here. That's one of the things. And the second observation is, what is the length of the syllabus? For expertise in that particular subject, they may feel that this particular content may be covered in 30 hours to 40 hours. But for a student, the first time they are going to listen or the students are introduced to the particular topic, they may get to take more time. I am talking about this particular one, it's the length of the syllabus, how we are going to assess it. The third point is that how we are going to do the question papers. Whether it is in most of the institutions, if you look at there are in the descriptive type, describe, explain, or the essay type question. Normally, it focuses on the understand level in the cognitive domain, not on the higher order thinking skills. That's another observation. Then what is the role of the industry in framing this particular curriculum? There's a big question mark here. Then the question is on whether our graduates are role-ready engineers. That's going to be the next question I would like to answer. I would like to make it here. The question is on the competencies of the graduates, what we are producing now. There may be a few exceptions in the current practice that even though we introduce some of the courses like multi-user detection, convex optimization in ECE curriculum for the undergraduate level itself, they take, some students take advantages of it, and then they are getting a higher institute admission immediately after their graduation. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But if you look at the overall traditional practice here, it is teacher-centric. We decide what we want to cover. We decide how to deliver it to the student. We decide how to assess that particular thing. This is the current practice now. So the shift is focusing from course objective, that means I'm talking about as teacher-centric, to course outcomes, that is to the learner-centric. The basic advantage of going from the teacher-centric to the learner-centric or from course objective to the course outcomes is nothing but how we are going to look at, we want to make sure that the learning is achieved, the constant for all the students now. From our earlier practice, we have a syllabus. Suppose let us assume that we get 5 units in our syllabus, one particular course. We fix the timing as 9 hours for each unit. Totally, we say that each unit should be covered for 9 hours, but the learning will be variable now. Now the thing is that based on the student's ability, if you are able to adjust the syllabus component, if you are able to adjust the time component here, the learning will be constant among the student. That is what is the focus now. That is the basic motivation for the OBE also, outcome-based education. So how we are going to look at this particular framework now? His idea is we start from the institute level. What is the reason for which the institution is established? The vision and the mission of the institution. Then the same question I'm making it is for the department also. What is the mission for which, what is the aim for which the department is established? This is given by the department, vision and the mission of the department. Then the institute level, we are getting a framework for the curriculum, so just as the number of credits, how many credits should be allotted for the foundation courses like humanities and social science, basic science, engineering sciences, how much should be for core, how much should be electives. That is the framework, normal in institute level framework, we are making it here. Then at the second level, it's a program level, we try to write what is the program educational objectives. That makes us a visionary statements we are going to make. After 3 to 5 years of graduation, what about the abilities of our students? That means 4 years they are in the campus, our campus, then 3 years they may be in the higher learning institution or in an industry. Collectively, what will be their ability after 3 to 5 years of graduation? Then we are writing the program outcomes, that is the graduate attributes given by International Engineering Alliance. In India, it has become a common thing because it has been adopted in NBA as program outcomes. And this is to be measured at the time of graduation. Then in order to specifically make sure that what is our focus, we are writing program specific outcome, that is 2 to 4. The ECU program, that is Electronics and Communication Engineering program offered in our institute, is the Thiagarajar College of Engineering. The focus is different what is offered in PSG College of Technology, Coimbatore. So this is where I'm going to look at that. This is my focus. This is the focus of my program. I'm going to specify it here. Then at the scheduling of courses, in order to achieve these things, what are the courses to be offered and what are the course outcomes? So once I am going to decide on that, these are all the courses may be offered. Then I come to the course level now. At the course level, I would like to make it as a course design that contains, it starts from the course outcome. What about the student's ability at the end of these courses? I am teaching this particular course. At the end of the course, what are the abilities that can be demonstrated by the students? That we call it as course outcomes. At the end of the things, then I decide what are the content delivery part of it, whether it should be a theory course, practical course, project, assignment or tutorial, seminar or theory cum practical. There are many options I can select it here. This is a course level. I'm going to do that. Once it is decided, this is the planning is done correctly, then it is also delivered. I'm looking to look at that assessment. Assessment starts from in class. Sometimes it may be used for grading or it may not be for the grading purpose. Then course level, I would like to measure the course outcome. Then the program level, the program outcome, program specific outcome, then program educational objectives. These things are to be measured. Then at the institute level, whether we are in the right direction. It is a vision and mission of the department as well as the institution. So along with this, we need to prepare our faculty members so that they are adapted to the outcome-based education now. There are two things I'm aiming at here. One is about the faculty core competence. Then the second one is the faculty teaching competence. The two things are very important here. I'm emphasizing the teaching competence part of that also. So next level is going to be on continual improvement. This is the loop that has to be completed now. We start from the design part. We can deliver that content to the students. Then we assess whether they have received it properly or not through the use of the course outcome, program specific outcome. Then I am going to look at that. Is there anything to be modified? That means I get to get a feedback from all my stakeholders that should be analyzed for the continual improvement. then I get to take an action on that particular pass. So it is going to be as a feedback loop. We are going to complete it in the OBE framework. This is a thing I am going to look at in the curriculum design part. In my opinion, all the graduate attributes cannot be accommodated in the curriculum itself. That means we get to plan the co-curricular as well as extracurricular activities to meet some of the graduate attributes like lifelong learning, then project management and finance. Some of them we get to be accommodated from co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So the thing is now, the OBE model, along with choice-based credit system, okay, it gives us a lot of flexibility. That's what I mentioned in the very first slide itself, a flexible system. That the flexibility means how we are going to make a balance. That's going to be the question will be, this is a common question asked by many persons. The balanced curriculum involves, there should be a fundamental thing, system and applications. Some courses should address fundamental part, system level and application part. There should be classical versus state of art. This is the second thing we are going to look at it here. And how many courses are industry supported? Okay, it is proposed by the industry. So to meet the state of art technologies in a particular domain, then we would like to frame a course articulation matrix and a program articulation matrix. I would like to emphasize some time on this course articulation matrix. Course articulation matrix is nothing but the mapping between course outcome and program outcome as well as program specific outcome. The idea is I take a course, then I am writing some 5 or 6 course outcomes for that particular course. Each course outcome, I would like to map it with the program outcome as well as program specific outcome. This will be done by the course designer individually. Then I'm going to look at that. What is the average of that particular thing? That means I give let us assume that I give 5 course outcomes. I'm mapping with some program outcomes. Some of them may be at the higher level correlation. Some of them with medium level correlation, and some of them with low level correlation. I take the average of all these things. Then finally, as a course, what are the things available? That is the low I'm going to take it here. That will be accommodated in a program articulation matrix. That is going to be the fundamental thing. This matrix will give us an idea that our curriculum, how much it accommodates all the graduate attributes. If at all any gap, that will be that can be supported by co-curricular and extracurricular activities. 1 second, sir. I'll just continue here. The second part is, the first part is mainly concentrating on OBE part of it. The second one about the choice-based credit system. That means a flexible structure for an individual student. If a student want to become a designer, what I get to do? What are the courses to be offered, or what are the courses to be chosen by the students? And if it is the, I have a question here. How can we commonly design the curriculum with OBE and CBCS? Should this be considered together for autonomous colleges? Framework-wise, this is outcome-based education. As a course designer or the curriculum designer, we can focus on the outcome-based education. When we are offering that particular course, when a student will select that particular course, that will be decided by them. We are giving that flexibility to the students. That implies it's a choice-based credit system. So OBE should be from the designer point of view, it's just outcome-based education. It covers all student needs like a designer, project leaders, entrepreneur, or so whomsoever they want to be here. So it is a general framework I'm having along with in OBE format here. But which student will take which particular course at which time, that will be decided by them. That flexibility is given by choice-based credit system. But within a framework here, I'm going to give the number of credits for the foundation, number of credits for the core, electives, project, skill-oriented course. So everywhere we get to give the flexibility. Say for the core courses, they may take some 50 to 60 credits they get a hand. If a student wants, they can go up to 60. If other student wants, they can complete it. Only 50 is sufficient. The system should allow that particular kind of the things. But fundamentally, OBE and CBCS, there should be a constructive alignment among the learning outcomes, learning activities, and assessment part. Learning outcomes come from the curriculum outcomes, curriculum design, learning activities from the content delivery, and how we are going to assess. There should be a constructive alignment here. Most of the institutions, we are not going for this alignment is missing. That's why we are facing a lot of problems now. This is going to be the critical things now in any design part of this. In content delivery part, once again I start with the traditional practice. Normally a teacher, like the experience of 20 to 25 years in the colleges, we introduce a topic by lecturing on general principles. Start from the principles, then we deliver mathematical models using the principles. Then we illustrate some applications for the mathematical models. We practice the similar derivation and applications. We give it as a homework. And finally, test the student's ability to do the same sort of things on the examination. This is normally what we follow here. But the problem here is it sufficient to reach the higher order thinking skills? That's going to be the fundamental idea, because normally the graduate attributes of an engineering program or any graduation program expects the higher order thinking skills now. That's going to be a problem. Is it sufficient? It's a basic thing we would like to answer here. So we need to understand what are the pedagogical challenge for the current students, that is the millennial learners, 21st century learners. The literature says there are 4 major challenges are there. The first challenge is the students have a limited attention span. Some of the studies, they say that continually a student can listen to a topic or a lecture for 20 minutes only. That means as a teacher, if you take a 1 hour session, we should plan the 20 minutes. That should be our delivering mechanism should be in smaller chunks. That we should deliver the 15 minutes what we get to do, 5 minutes activity, then 15 minutes lecture. We should plan accordingly there. Then the second thing is that students have different approaches for processing information. If in a class of 50 students, there are 3 ways of assessing or processing the information. One at the surface level. They don't want to go into the depth of what we are addressing there in the class. The second approach is the deep level. The third one is the strategic approach. Normally, the strategic approach is mainly used in competitive examination, but our students in the autonomous colleges, they are capable of understanding what is the expectations. Then they do the things like that. But focus should be on the deep approach for processing information. Then only we can go into the higher order thinking skills. Then only we can meet the requirement of engineering graduates. The students we should understand that students have different learning styles from 4 different ways. I'm going to look at it here. Whether the learners are visual or auditory. Then the second level is whether these students are sequential learners or global learners, whether they are active learners or reflective learners, whether the learners are sensory or intuitive. For example, if a student is a global learner in nature means until he or she gets a big picture or a system level thinking of that particular subject or a course, they will not be able to cope up with our classroom activities. Sequential learners can adapt to our classroom teaching very easily. That means students may be among these 4 criteria: visual, auditory, sequential, global, active, reflective, sensory, intuitive. They may be in any one of the cases, but we cannot change. I may be fit into the case of auditory, global, reflective, and intuitive. But the student may be in different levels means how we are going to plan some activities through the collaborative and active learning strategies. We get to fill this particular gap. The 5th level, inductive or deductive, is based on our teaching methodology here. Whether we start from the applications to principles or principle to applications, that decides that. Normally, professors with 20 years or 25 years of experience, we normally start with the principles, finally end up with applications. But student wants application first, the principles. In order to understand that application part, they are looking for the principles there. This is in the reverse direction. So how we are going to meet these challenges there? That's from the learning style of these things. The last one, the students need to be motivated constantly. That means for all the assessments, we should be able to give a constructive feedback to the students. These are the 4 major pedagogical challenges we should understand, and how we are going to plan our content delivery activities so that we can easily reach the expected level of the outcomes in OBE framework. Then the next level is a millennial learners and the teachers' role. This is based on the studies. I collected some of the things like what are the requirements by the millennial learners. Then I am giving the teacher's role as a substitute there. Millennial learners, they prefer open, transparent, and fair interaction. They want to be as a friendly approach. They are looking for nothing confidential. OBE is best suitable for that particular thing, as well as the choice-based credit system. What we can do here, we get to be transparent. That means from the design part, in content delivery part, as well as in the assessment part. That means we are defining the course outcomes, how I am going to use the assessment methods for grading them. Okay, that's the kind of the things we are going to look at as a transparency here. We can provide some constructive feedback for the pair interaction among the students. Then the second things they say that the millennial learners learn best when the content is relevant and presented in a rational manner. That means we should make the content relevant. We can follow some of the learning the concepts theories like a ARCH model. This attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. This kind of so many models are available. I'm just mentioning one of the things here, so that we should get the attention of the students in first few minutes. Then we get to connect them. The content should be relevant to them. Then we should build the confidence. Finally, at the end of the session, they should get satisfaction here. That's a fundamental idea of the ARCH model. Then we deliver in smaller chunks because the students have the short attention span. That should be done there. Then they learn best when the content is presented in multiple modes, like a visual, audio, games, contest. That means our classroom should be an active classroom, not just a lecture only. It's for entire 1 hour things we are going to give the lecture. That will not work out properly for the current level of the students. So we are going to plan some multimodal delivery of content. That means we should use some active learning methodologies. In fact, the millennial learners, they enjoy researching information as an independent role also they are going to give. We can provide them some challenging assignments in everyday instruction there. That's going to be things they will engage them in the enjoying the researching information also. There is a question here. What are the online certification courses which could be considered for credits? Recently, All India Council for Technical Education, they introduced a concept called degree program with minor. That means, suppose I am studying in a course in program in Electronics and Communication Engineering program. I can take 20 credits from online, like MOOCs, massive online open online courses, or I can do some of the things like a Coursera, edX, NPTEL courses. I can complete 20 credits. They are giving 2 options to the students. They may be offered BE degree with honors or BE degree in Electronics and Communication Engineering, minor in the area in which they can completed the 20 credits through online. So it becomes, it is possible now, online certificate courses will be given credit, not part of the CGPA. They will be awarded as a honors or minor in that particular area.
Dr. Thiruvengadam, I have a question. See, there's a general thought that implementing the choice-based credit system, there could be a significant increase in the resources required. Can you please share with your thoughts on how your experience on this particular topic and how you went about managing resources?
It is just a planning, sir. It is not a extra resources we don't want. Actually, I will take my own department case study here. We have 120 students in BE Electronics and Communication Engineering, and we offer 2 ME program, Wireless Technologies and a Communication System. We have 1:15 ratio of the faculty member. Currently, we are having 31 faculty members now. If you look at the load wise, we are able to offer at least in a place of 1 elective course, we are able to offer 3 elective courses within this limit itself. If we are offering these electives according to the student's requirement, there is a definite possibility with the available number of faculty members in the department. We are practicing that particular one. There will be not a extra resources we don't want. We can plan our timetable and the faculty members availability accordingly. It is possible there. I hope that I have answered your question, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You can please proceed. Thank you.
Okay. I continue from the millennial learners. They are enjoying the social interaction with peers and the teachers. They want to be treated as friends. That's a fundamental thing they are aiming at here. That means we should make ourselves accessible to the students. That's a fundamental thing. Then connects well with the technology. This is where we are going to use the ICT components. We can go ahead with the use of the ICT. We can plan some group activities. We can encourage them for the collaborative learning also. They have already mentioned that a short attention span. That means we should plan all our activities in a smaller chunks. That will engage the students in a more active manner in the classroom itself. They learn best in a relaxed environment. That means our things, it should be stress-free, or it should be, our system should be transparent here. And finally, if we are able to provide some constructive feedback, that will solve many of the problems here now. Then immediately, I expect some questions from the teachers. I just listed out some of the questions. What mistakes do we make when we implement the active learning strategies? Will it not affect our original plan of covering the syllabus? Because some of the things, the first question I would like to answer, in the remaining 4 questions, if you are interested, I will give the answer in the question and answer session. If you plan activities for more than 3 minutes, definitely that will affect. Our activities should be as minimum as possible in the time duration wise. Like if you implement something like a think, pair, share, that will not take more than 3 minutes. That apparently further, it will enhance the students' concentration in the classroom itself. That is more than sufficient for us to get on into the next topic or the next module there. Then, if you are asking the same person in the classroom repeatedly for every activity, that will disturb the flow now. So, we can plan this particular thing carefully, then we can spend more time on this particular part. Then in the assessment part, so far I covered this curriculum design part, content delivery part. Now we are coming to the assessment part. What work is appropriate for the students to do, that is our plan, to reach the learning outcomes is content delivery. We can deliver that particular thing according to our plan in the curriculum design. What students do demonstrate that they fulfill the learning outcomes. We want to check whether our plan is worked out very well or not. That is the assessment part. Assessment is an integral part of teaching and learning. It helps us to provide a good picture what they achieved, what they cannot achieve, and how they can achieve through the feedback. So this will give a clear plan. If you are giving the assessment, is a clear plan. If you get a clear plan of assessment, then automatically we can achieve all the outcomes, starting from the course level, program level, as well as at the institute level. Then in the assessment part also, I am making certain comments here. Assessment should be consistent with the outcomes of the course. Normally, in many of the institutions, we don't look at the course outcomes, what we get written for the particular syllabus. The tendency is that many of us, we take the questions from the syllabus point of view. It should not be there. The question should be framed according to the course outcomes written in the syllabus. If it is there, that will give more focus, it will give a more constructive alignment among what we get planned what we get delivered and what we are assessing now. That is the constructive alignment we should ensure. As well as if we are able to provide a variety to measure a range of different course outcomes that will meet the different types of the learners, that will be more appreciated by the learners. In our institute, we tried this particular thing that worked very well also, of course, with a lot of extra working by the faculty members. Then another thing is, we should get the criteria that need to be detailed, transparent, and justifiable. Because if a student, suppose I am asking a 10-mark question, I should give very clearly the rubrics that when I give the 2 marks, when I give 4, 6, 8, or 10, what are the expectations? If I am able to give it very clearly, there will be no confusion at all. Even if it is a descriptive type questions, that means students, they are expecting us to give the transparently when I will be given that particular grade or that particular mark. We should have that criteria in our mind. That means we get to develop some rubrics for that particular thing. Normally, these rubrics are practiced in many institutions for the presentation work or the project review component there. But that should be extended for other cases also. Then we can achieve the course outcomes. The attainment, the measuring the course outcome also will be a meaningful one. Then another thing is that all our learners need specific and timely feedback on their work. Even this can be done, they are not looking for just a grade. If you look continually, if you are conducting a continuous assessment test, we should give them where they can 5 and where they can improve. That kind of the things we get to do. This normal practice is that in 1 hour, how many answer script I am going to evaluate. That cannot be as a it's not a competition here. If you spend more time on that particular evaluating the answer script, that will improve the course outcomes as well as the graduates' ability as the result of this particular thing. They are not looking just a grade now. Then another thing is that the systematic analysis of the student performance on the assessed task, that will help us also in terms of what are the areas in which we get to change our curriculum or we get to modify our curriculum, as well as what are the areas in which we get to change our own way of delivering lectures in the content delivery part also. That and systematic analysis will give us a continual improvement here. As a teacher or as a faculty member, we should be as a coach for the students, not as a gatekeeper. Gatekeeper is just to close, fail or pass or fail. Coach means go with them and correct them wherever they are making mistake. As a faculty members, we should be the facilitators to make them to reach the outcomes finally. That's fundamental idea what we are looking for now. So the summary, we are moving from outputs to outcomes now. Output means normally what we are looking at is a pass percentage. How many of them got the distinctions? And campus placement, 90% of eligible students got placement. Something like that, we make some advertisement. These are all outputs. Admission levels. Last year, what is the admission level? What current year, what is the entrance? First entrance score and the last entrance score. Then the transition percentages there. How many of them may get admitted as a first graduate or the girl students? Maybe how they get transformed there in their career. These things are going to be as the outputs. But OBE focuses on the outcomes. That means I am saying that some students got 9 CGPA in your program means that should reflect, that 9 CGPA should reflect their problem solving ability, analytical ability, and design capability. Fundamentally, they should be working in the area of the higher order thinking skills, not just in the knowledge and understand level. They should be at the application, analyze, and evaluate, create. So whatever the CGPA or the grade I am going to give, that should reflect the ability of the students. That thing can be covered only by the proper measurement of the course outcomes and the program outcomes. The second thing is about how they are able to interact with the society, how they are able to understand the societal needs, then whether they are employable or what about their leadership quality, entrepreneurship quality, whether they are in the teamwork. Okay, so some kind of these kind of the things are outcome. It may be looking as a qualitative things, but that can be quantified. That is the beauty of this outcome-based education here. If a student wants a choice-based credit system role here it is. If a student wants to be a designer, they should be able to select courses accordingly. They should learn at their own pace. And finally, if a student want to be a designer means, the focus should be on the design capability here. I should give much emphasis on the design capability. If a student want to become an entrepreneur, what about my way of curriculum, content delivery has helped them? So these things are going to be addressed in a detailed manner. Okay. Since it is a introductory webinar, I am highlighting it as a fundamental thing. Each one can be discussed in detail. That means they improve the quality of the program means, like Swaminathan has asked about the question that if you want to implement, whether we get to need extra resources or the teacher should work more hours. That is not a valid solution. I am not aiming at a particular thing. Within the available time and resources, we can do wonderfully OBE with the choice-based credit system, because both of them provides or help us to get better understanding our student learning within this available student, faculty, time, funding, and other resources. The best strategy to do that is the two things: read as the space we already have, read as the time we already have. So fundamentally, if we cannot control the resources we have, how can we ever justify why we should get more resources? It will only result in more of the same. It doesn't mean that I am supporting the management. I am as a faculty member, I felt it is possible to implement these kind of the things, OBE and the CBCS, within the available faculty and time, funding, and other resources. So the things will make it very easier if you are going for the automation. I mentioned about three things. One is about the alignment among the outcomes as a content delivery and assessment. If you want to make it as an automation here, it will give the better visibility to aid in the quality of curriculum design, the status of the content delivery, how much I get covered, how much it is left, which course outcome to be addressed in a more detailed manner. Those kind of the things will give us a better things. It will also give us the better accountability for the student as well as for the faculty member. We can make the analytics also very easily there. It will help us to reduce lot amount of time if you are going through the automation process now. So as a final thing, the C is common to all. Some take pearls, some take kisses, some come out with just wet legs. The world is also so common to all. What we get is what we try for. OBE and the CBCS that can be implemented only for the documentary purpose, or it can be implemented for in a true spirit in an institution there. What we get is what we try for now. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you, sir. Any questions? I will be happy to answer those things now.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Thiruvengadam. It's a very, very informative session. There are quite a few questions that have come up already. In a couple of minutes, I will start reading them to you, and you can answer one by one.
Okay.
Meanwhile, our participants can also go to the chat, the Q&A, and ask questions. You can also do that. We already have a few questions lined up, which I'm going to read out to you in a minute. Can you please go to the next slide? Just before we move on to the session, I would like to also just explain, as a part of my thanks to Dr. Thiruvengadam, there are a number of concepts that we've worked with Professor on building a solution. You'll see a number of the concepts and academics that we have evolved along with Professor, and it's been a very good journey for us over the last 3 years to build these kind of solutions. And you have seen in the session today a lot of those concepts being shared, and we've been very grateful to have worked with you, sir. Thank you very much for all the information you've shared with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll go on to the Q&A. I will read out the questions for you one by one. There are about some 7-8 questions. We still have, just to give you a perspective, we have about 13 minutes left, and we have about 8 questions so far.
Okay.
We have already answered the first one. Second, for affiliated colleges that don't have the flexibility on curriculum, can you please advise how we can implement these concepts?
I agree that we don't have any say for the curriculum in the for the affiliated colleges. Normally, they are considered as a tier 2 institutions in India as per the National Board of Accreditation. As I mentioned earlier, we have three things in our hand: curriculum design, content delivery, and assessment. Curriculum design is not part of the affiliated college, as well as the assessment is also not part of the affiliated colleges there. Only the option left to them is content delivery part. The focus is mainly on the content delivery part, as well as another thing is that many of the course graduate attributes are not just aligned to the curriculum. As an affiliated college, we can plan so many other co-curricular and extracurricular activities, especially the co-curricular activities to meet the graduate attributes. That means affiliated colleges, they have one full freedom in content delivery part. The second thing is on the co-curricular activities and how they can bridge the gap between what do they want to achieve and what is currently given by the university there. So if the content beyond syllabus activities are more, they can definitely fulfill the requirement of the students.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah, the next question. Could we map OBE with ABL?
What is it? ABL, sir?
So, who was the participant? I think it's Professor Gnanasekar. If you could please elaborate what's on ABL. What is ABL? You could please elaborate on that, sir. Meanwhile, we will move on to the next question.
Okay.
How can we correlate the program-specific outcome with the course outcome?
That's a very good question. How to map this course outcome and program outcome? I will make it as program outcome. If you look at the program outcomes, there are 12. First 4 things are mainly on the knowledge part of it. The mapping with the knowledge part can be done with the help of the Bloom's taxonomy. It's a very simply we can go ahead with the procedure. One example I tell you that if suppose my course outcome is at the understand level, I make the assumption that my one of the course I have 5 course outcomes. The first course outcome is at the understand level. The program outcome, first program outcome is at the apply level. If you read the statement carefully, the ability of the students to apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering. That means that is at apply level in Bloom's taxonomy. That's a 3rd level in Bloom's taxonomy. My course outcome is a 2nd level in Bloom's taxonomy. Means the correlation between these 2 things is at medium level, the 2nd level correlation. That means I'm using Bloom's taxonomy as a tool to map between the course outcome and the program outcome. This can be done only for the knowledge level part of the program outcomes as well as for the program specific outcome. If you look at the other things like ethics, individual and teamwork and communication, it depends on how we are going to assess the student ability or the student part in that particular thing. That depends on the way we are going to assess it. If you want to do it in a particular course, what type of questions you are going to ask, then we can do the mapping process here. So it is on a detailed thing that may require another 30 to 45 minutes to fully explain and how we are going to prepare that course articulation matrix and program articulation matrix. It's a detailed thing that it depends on, we will take some separate case study, then we can explain it in a better way now. So currently, Bloom's taxonomy can be used as one of the tools to map with the course outcomes and the program outcomes, especially for the knowledge part.
Going back to the previous question now, ABL, Professor expanded it as activity-based learning. So the question is, could we map OBE with ABL, activity-based learning?
Definitely, sir. OBE is, first we have look at the curriculum design part wise. Suppose I am writing one course outcome at the higher order thinking skills. Definitely that needs some collaborative activity here. That is on the content delivery part. If you follow the normal way of delivering the lecture, we will not be able to meet the course outcome for the higher order thinking skills. So definitely this activity-based learning is highly correlated with the outcome-based education. That should be part of the system in all the colleges also, activity-based learning as well as the collaborative learning process there. That's what I also mentioned that in the OBE framework, faculty should be trained in both the things, core competence as well as the teaching competence. You already highlighted that activity-based learning. Faculty should be given training on that, how to implement it in the classroom there. There we are looking for all the pedagogical things comes into a picture. So definitely there is a correlation between OBE and the activity-based learning.
Sure. Okay, the next question. What type of assessment pattern is suitable for OBE?
The type of assessment is basically based on what we are going to measure. If a course outcome is at the lower order thinking skills, normal way of remember as well as in the understand level, recalling the information or interpreting the concept in their own words, the normal way of asking question is fine. But once we are aiming at the course outcome at the higher order thinking skills, in my opinion, the 3 hours examination or the 3 assignments or 3 test continuous assessment test may not be sufficient there. That requires a different way of assessing that particular thing. This kind of the open choice or the either or type questions normally maybe fit into open choice questions may fit into the understand level type of the things. That is at the lower order thinking skills. As the previous question, sir asked about the activity-based learning. Those kind of the things should be also part of that. In my opinion, our conventional way of the assessment system should be changed in a drastic way. Already we have made some changes in our own institute there. We abolished the concept of the terminal examinations for some of the courses also. So we are not able to measure the attainment of the higher order thinking skills learning outcomes in the current normal way of doing that. We have made everything as a fully continuous assessment, full of them based on their activities, what are the things they are doing. We use rubrics for the assessment also there. So the idea is very simple. Look at the learning outcome or the course outcome. Based on that, you plan the activities as well as you plan how we are going to assess it there. If possible, try to make some new way of assessing them with the new tools also.
Okay, next question. What should we look out for when designing content delivery in CAMO? I think rather than CAMO, I think generally in any IT system. So designing content delivery in an IT system.
This is fine. We need some ICT tools, especially in the way of the CAMO. You can use it in the classroom also. Suppose I give some question for understanding. I delivered many things there. Today also I delivered some of the things in content delivery, curriculum design and assessment. I'm not confident that how many of them have learned it properly or not. That means I can pose some questions. Then I will ask for your responses from your side. From the responses, I can understand that what level I have reached in. So this kind of things can be done with the use of any teaching learning software, especially in CAMO itself. Sometimes they can be used for grading, sometimes may not be used for grading purpose also. Another thing is our plan. So we are planning the activities there that can be given to the students well in advance. Then we can say that I have completed this particular task, I need more time. How I am going to make some changes in my content delivery. Those things are also possible. Definitely we need an automation system that will make the transparency among the student as well as the faculty members. This will give a more detailed thing, as well as be planning for some of the collaborative learning activities that will also helpful to go with the learning management system or like CAMP.
Okay. The next question. How do mapping for theory come practical subjects? If outcome is not reached, what remedial should we follow?
You want to distinguish it from theory as well as practical, or it is a combined course?
I think it's a theory cum practical, combined. That's what the question says.
Okay. If it is combined, we normally we write what are the course outcomes for the theory part of that and what are the course outcomes for the practical part of that. If you look at the Bloom's taxonomy, there are 3 domains are there. One is the cognitive domain, the second is the psychomotor, and the third one is the affective domain. Normally, we focus on the cognitive domain. Most of the institutions, we follow that. In fact, we should use all the three. Psychomotor is a motor domain is the best suitable thing for the practical courses. So the idea here it is, we write separate course outcomes for theory part as well as for the practical part of that also. So the assessment should be based on that. If suppose we are not able to meet those kind of the things, the problem may be in assessment tool itself. Suppose I am asking a question, write a C program to do certain activity as a theory question. That itself, the tool itself, a wrong one. I said I asked them to do it in the system. Then I asked them to show the answers. That will be more helpful there. So the first we check whether the tool we used is appropriate or not. If it is appropriate, there may be a problem in the delivery here. So we should be open enough to accept that we get to make some changes. If it is possible, we can do that particular changes. The third one is, even though we are introducing as a learner-centric curriculum, most of the time we feel that this concept is very easy. This is for us. 20 years of experience in signal processing, I can learn this concept very easily. But for the student, it's the first time they are learning. We should keep in mind that this gap may be there. We get to understand that whether the topic is really tough or not. That those things to be understood very clearly, then we can make some changes. It is a practice. It's a continued improvement is possible in OBE system. We can go ahead with the kind of things. There is a possibility of making correction through a proper feedback and analysis on the feedback. We can do all the corrections. Look at in these three aspects. Design part, what are the changes we get to make? In content delivery part, what are the changes we get to make? And in assessment part, what are the changes we get to make? That will give a very clear idea on how to improve the student performance.
Right. Professor, there are a number of questions still yet to be answered. I think we have time for one more question.
Okay.
We will get the other questions written up in an email, and probably we can respond to all the participants later.
Okay.
So for now, we will take one question, Professor.
Okay.
We assume, this is the question, we assume that vision, mission, and PEOs are qualitative statements, and PO, PSO, and CO are quantitative values. Qualitative statements are realizable through the assessment from quantitative values and their mapping. Is it right?
Can you please repeat the question, sir?
Yeah, you can also, it's a slightly longish question. You can also see it in the Q&A window. We assume that vision, mission, and POs are qualitative statements.
Okay.
PO, PSO, CO are quantitative values.
Okay.
Quantitative statements are realizable through the assessment from quantitative values and their mapping. Is it right?
Definitely, 100% right. There is no doubt on this because when we design, we come from top to bottom. We start from the vision and the mission, then PEOs, then PO, PSO, then CO. Then when we want to assess whether we are in the right direction or not, that comes from bottom to top. That means it starts from the quantitative things like a course outcome, program outcome, and the program specific outcome. If these are the things achieved, because we do the mapping for the PO and the PEO also. If the POs are achieved perfectly, then that will give the impact on program educational objectives also. So definitely there is a POs also can be measured. The problem is going to be on we are not able to get the proper feedback from all our alumni and the employers. That it's a major maybe the hard part of that particular one. If we're able to get very good feedback, reasonable numbers, then we can measure PO also. So that will give the overall thing to our vision and mission of the department. If we say academic excellence, whether we achieved it or not, that can be measured definitely from the achievement of the program outcome as well as program educational objectives. If the mission is fine, then we will achieve the vision of the institute also. So it is absolutely right.
Thank you, Professor Thiruvengadam. We've just run out of time here. We still have about, I think, 8 or 9 questions still left. At this point, I would like to thank all the participants who have taken the time out to attend the session. our sincere thanks to you, and thank you for asking all the questions and participating in the session. We will get all the unanswered questions answered through email, and we'll ensure they're shared with you. Thank you very much for attending the session. So with this, we will close the webinar. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Thiruvengadam.
Thank you, sir. It was a different experience for me. Without the presence of the students, taking lecture is a different experience, and it was very good also. Thank you for all the questions and the opportunity too. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.